Welcome to Podnastics. My name is Jacob Daniel, and along with my friend and co-host Christian Marsh, we interview gymnasts and let them tell their stories. From college-level gymnasts to Olympic stars, we're going to cover it all. This is Podnastics. Yo, what's up, Pod Nation? I am your totally not on vacation host, Jacob Daniel.
And I am your not still tired from daylight savings time co-host, Christian Marsh.
Dude, I forgot that it was daylight savings, man.
Yeah,
It feels
I'm a night
illegal.
owl.
It feels illegal.
I agree. I'm a night owl. I was up, brushing my teeth or whatever around 1:30. I'm like in bed on my phone. All of a sudden I see it jump to 3 and I'm like, what happened? I wasn't on TikTok that long.
Did we lose an hour or gain an hour?
It's spring forward, so we lost an hour.
Imagine you're springing forward, you're on spring break, and you're just losing.
Facts, bro.
Oh, any big plans for spring break this year, man? You gonna hit the beach or?
No, honestly, I'm just gonna like go home and see my family. I like always competing on both weekends of spring break, like from like club until college. So now that like I can use a spring break, I usually just use it to like hang out with my family and make them not have to spend money on me. So
Wow, a family man, a family guy. Luckily, there's a family guy in Marsh. No, dude, that's awesome. Hey, enough about your family. On today's episode, we have a really great guest. She's a good friend of mine. She's a former LSU gymnast. She now actually works for ESPN. Today's guest is Kiya Johnson, and we are so excited for you to get to know her on today's episode of Podnastics, the gymnastics podcast, happening right now on the episode. Like that. Kiya, dude, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Oh, we're glad you could finally make this happen. You
Right. I know it's
canceled,
been a
you
lot.
canceled twice. No, I'm kidding. I'm
I
kidding.
know. I definitely did. It's been a lot, but I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah, it's crazy to assume adults have like lives outside of jumping on a
Right.
podcast. Uh, Kiya, how about you tell us about yourself? I assume you're a gymnast, maybe.
Right. I am. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I started gym at a pretty young age, kind of the typical starting gymnastics story. I was in mommy and me classes, fell in love with it. And then I progressed pretty quickly. I tried the elite route for a while, and that did not work out in the way that I wanted it to. I ended up tearing my Achilles when I was 15, I think. And then I decided to kind of go back to level 10, focus on getting recruited. And then I went to LSU, which was my dream, literally the best 5 years of my life. And now I am recently removed, working at ESPN, but still trying to stay connected to gymnastics in some way. So yeah.
So going back to what you're talking about, was it your decision to go elite? Was that something a coach offered up to you? I'm always curious when people are like,
Uh-huh.
I was an elite gymnast. For me
Uh-huh.
growing up, I remember there was a moment where my coach was talking to a group of us and he's like, some of you guys, and he didn't look at me, some of you guys I feel like you should like drop out of high school and you should go elite, do
Right.
homeschooling and go elite. And once again, he was not looking at me for some reason. But it was funny because at least two or three of my teammates went elite. And I remember I asked them about it and I was like, yeah, what do you think? And my one buddy goes, I hate this. He was like, I'm not built for this. The other two had a really positive experience with it. And I know a lot of people who have had positive experience with it, but I'm curious what made you want to go elite at the moment
Mhm.
of your life when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I was at a gym. I was at Texas Dreams, who had a lot of elites at that time. I think during that time we had maybe like 6 or 7 girls like showing up to championships and classics and stuff, and that was kind of a big deal. So I think I was more wanting to go elite because of the people around me and seeing them have so much success. I kind of wanted to follow in their footsteps. I don't remember it being like a specific like conversation with my coach or anything like that. I just remember like practicing one time a day, and then like all of a sudden in the summer I'm starting 2 a days, and then I'm at the gym like way more than I was before. And then I just remember starting to go to elite qualifiers, and I was like, okay, so I guess this is what I'm doing. This is the goal now. But at my gym, we kind of did level 10 and elite at the same time. So you would like compete some JO meets and then you would compete some elite qualifiers. And if you qualified, it was like, okay, you can stop going to the JO meets now, I guess.
They were like, you are getting no free time.
Right. You will live at this facility, but it's okay.
So, like you said, you were a former LSU gymnast. Was LSU always the dream school for you, or how did that come around?
Yeah. So I committed to University of Georgia first, which a lot of people don't know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was committed to Georgia for 2 years. And then there were some coaching changes that happened, so I decided to decommit. And my first call was Jay. I wanted to go to LSU, but that opportunity wasn't there when I originally committed to Georgia. So I called him. Opportunity still wasn't there in the way that I was expecting it to be. I ended up graduating high school early to go to LSU, but the rest is history. I definitely wanted to go when I was younger, and then obviously some things happen and things don't go exactly the way they planned, but I ended up where I wanted to be. So that's all that matters.
When, okay, yeah. When did you start college?
I started in 2019.
Okay, so was your first year COVID year or was your
Yeah,
second year?
like that was we got cut short. Like our season got cut short in 2020.
Because
So
I'm,
technically I was supposed to graduate high school in 2020, but I ended up graduating in 2019.
gosh, so not only were you like an early bird, your first year just goes under immediately.
Yeah.
Did
We had
you?
a great fall, which was awesome, but the season we
Okay,
like
so
cut short.
I'm trying to use my COVID head. So you didn't compete at all that year, right?
We did. Yeah, so
Okay.
we had a season until like probably senior night. So we were very close to like SECs, regionals, nationals. But
Hmm.
it was like that week before senior night, they said, yeah, everybody's going home. We're like, okay.
And that allowed you to be at LSU for 5 years, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And okay, so you mentioned tearing your Achilles earlier. You tore your Achilles at LSU too, right?
Yeah. I tore my first one in high school and then my second one senior year. So then I was able to stay for a fifth year.
My gosh, man. I don't know how I don't know how people do that where they tear their Achilles and they come first off, like shout out for you for doing that. Like
Thank
that's
you.
gutsy. Gutsy as hell to like tear your Achilles, come back and compete on it again twice.
Yeah.
But no, that's crazy, especially because you came back from that, and then your senior year, LSU wins their first national championship title in program
Mhm.
history. What was that like? Tell me about senior
That
year,
was,
because I know that was a fight for you guys.
yeah.
I didn't watch your guys' documentary, but I know it was a fight for you guys.
Yes. Yeah. No, I mean, it was absolutely insane to get the result that we did this year, just with everything that had happened. I know I'm talking about myself and my Achilles, but the year before, the year that I got hurt, we had like two other Achilles tears, like just lots of injuries that derailed our season, a bit. And so coming into the 2025 season, we kind of just wanted to give it all we had, obviously the fifth and 6 years that it stayed. Like we knew it was our last time doing gymnastics, so we just wanted to go out with a bang. And so to win a national championship for the first time, like it still doesn't feel real, I guess. But it was just the most like storybook ending, I feel like that could have happened.
Literally, end of the movie.
Yeah,
Cue the end, the title cards. Um,
yeah,
Yeah, because I remember right after you guys won that and into the summer, a bunch of your teammates were like, I'm coming back for one more year. I got one
yeah,
more in me. And I was super curious to see if you were going to come back because I know
yeah,
Olivia came back. I know Livy came back. Did you think about coming back at all? Or were you in that moment, this is a really good ending for me. I don't want to do
yeah.
the sequel movie. I want to end on a high.
Right. Yeah, I thought about it, I would say, for like probably like a week and a half. And just after like talking to my coaches, talking to my parents, I was like, I've loved every minute of it. And I think another year would be great, but like you can't, I feel like it couldn't get much better than
Mhm.
the way that we ended. And then plus I had some opportunities that came up that I was like, okay, I think I can give my body a break, turn into a LSU gym fan, watch them on TV. But yeah, I thought about it for a second.
Hey, compete one more time or go work for the premier sports company. Oh,
Right.
it's outweighing it. So yeah, you mentioned working for ESPN. What do you do for
Mhm.
ESPN now?
So I am a production assistant. And right now I'm working on gymnastics, which is really fun. In the fall, I got to work on college football. But basically I just help with like edits and stuff that will run during the meets.
I wish I could be a production assistant, but I graduated college during COVID and they weren't hiring anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been cool so far.
What's your long-term dream with ESPN? What do you want to like put yourself 5 years in the future? What would you
Yeah.
want to be? Would you want to be doing something gymnastics related or something completely different?
Um,
The Kiya
I
Johnson
definitely,
show.
that would be crazy. I definitely want to stay connected with gym. Like that is the goal, and I think college gymnastics is growing. So staying connected with college gym would be great. But I think I want to kind of turn it into like the sideline reporter situation.
Hmm.
Um, Still on the production side, but like being in front of the camera instead of behind. I think a lot of sports like college football, college basketball, baseball have sideline reporters and all this coverage. And I think gym is getting to the point where we're going to need more coverage. So I think if they need anybody to be on the sideline with Mike, I'm ready.
So you don't want to be behind the camera commenting. You don't want to be old John Roethlisberger
Oh,
comment.
like the commentators? No, I don't think I can do that. I feel like that is they're speaking nonstop. Like I got to go to the Sprouts Invitational at the beginning of the year and like see John and Allie and Sam and all them in their element doing it. And I'm like, yeah, no, too much going on for me. I can't do that.
Not that I know a ton about commentary about gymnastics, but I feel
Uh,
like John and Allie and oh my gosh, who's
Samantha
the other
Bacek's
one?
pretty good.
They do a really great job
they
whenever I
do.
can. And maybe I'm saying that biasly because I've known Roethlisberger for the majority of
Right,
my life, but he is
right.
a super good commentator. He's got that
Yeah.
voice locked down. Marsh, you do a little bit of commentary here and there. What's that like personally?
I love it. I'm actually literally going to commentate on me after this, funnily enough.
Who's doing it today?
Simpson and Greenville.
Okay.
So I'm not, yeah, which neither team I'm affiliated with, but they asked me to, and I said yes.
I was
I
gonna
just like
say,
to talk about gymnastics. I'm like one of those people, like a gym nerd. So like I learned the code, start to finish, and like I just like stay up to date on everything. So I mean, even if I don't commentate the meets, I'm watching them, and then I'm usually
Right.
texting something about everything that's going on, anyways. So I'm just skipping a step here. I'm not typing. I just get to say it directly into the mic.
I was gonna say if it was a Willem and Mary meet, I was gonna be like, whatever, he's biased.
Exactly. Go Tribe.
Yeah, Kyle, obviously, thanks for coming on the show today. I've gotten to know you for I think we've known each other for 4 or 5 years now. I met you
Yeah,
at
it's been
the
a
fest.
while.
Instantly, you immediately became one of my favorite people I get to see over the summers. You and Alona both. Both of you guys are just very pure-hearted, like nice people. Very
Thank
contagiously,
you.
like good energy. So immediately when I started the podcast up, I already had a list of people who I wanted to have on. You were on the list. I have Alona on the list. I know she's competing, so I don't
Great,
I don't want to like bug her too much and be like,
great. Keep her
come
busy.
on, get on the pod. We're actually gonna have like our first college gymnast hopefully next week, but I know like the schedules, like your guys'
Yeah,
free time is so valuable to you. So I don't want to like take 30 to an hour when you guys could be like resting or something.
right. Yeah, honestly though, this is the time to do it because they've got like regional or SECs, regionals, those meets coming up. So I think they might have a little more free time. I think they go every other week
So how do you
now.
feel? How do you before I throw it over to our patented Marsh questions, how do you feel about LSU
Uh,
this season?
I mean, I'm definitely biased, but I think that they're doing great. Um, I think that they're like peaking at the right time. We like are notorious for starting off kind of slow and like not having great meets at the beginning. But I think right now they look really good. And I just can't wait for SECs. I feel like SECs is going to be just as intense as nationals with like Oklahoma and Florida. So I'm excited. I think they're doing great.
That's awesome. All right, Kaya, this is part of the show where I throw it over to my partner, Christian Marsh, for his patented Marsh questions. He has thought long and hard about these gymnastics related questions. I hope you're ready. You might feel stumped. Marsh, take it away.
All right, what's up? All right, so I've got like a theme for most of the questions today,
Okay.
and they're all going to center around scoring and the perfect 10, right? Because
Okay.
there's obviously, some contention with like the number of tens that were being given last season, and so they
Hmm.
adjusted for that this season, and there were fewer, and then some people are think they're giving them out again, and there's too many, and so it's been all over the place. And so while I won't ask you to comment on that, don't worry. I do want to
Okay.
ask you about your tens because you got several. How many did you get before you graduated?
That is a great question. I think maybe like 6 or 7. I could be wrong,
Yeah, that
but
is so many.
yeah.
So like in yeah, getting a perfect 10. Do you feel a difference from, routine to routine? Did your first one feel as awesome as your last one? Did,
Mm.
4 feel the same as 5?
I think for me, I was definitely aware of my gymnastics, like my body awareness was really good. And so I could tell if, like, even if it doesn't look weird, a skill looks weird to the judges, but in my brain, it might feel a little off or maybe not feel the best. So I think sometimes when I was getting tens, I was a little more critical of myself, being like, I'm not sure that's legit. But then I'll like go back and watch it. I'm like, okay, I guess it didn't look as bad as I thought in my brain. But it's funny, I got my first and only 10 on vault freshman year. It's like the first 10 I ever got in my life. Probably the most exciting because I love vault and my vault was pretty hard, so like sticking was like a very big deal. And that was the only time I got a 10 on vault in my career. And then I think my last one was also just as exciting because it was my first floor routine back from tearing my Achilles this past season. So it was like first time doing floor in the PMAC. And I was able to get a 10. So that was very fun.
Oh, that's huge. Crazy.
Mhm.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Imagine getting your 110 on vault and then COVID happens.
Right. Right. That's what I think that's what it was. It was COVID. Like
It's not her
that's what
fault.
yeah. Right.
Honestly, goodness gracious. I was relearning how to walk after COVID, man. That
Mm.
long out of the gym, had never done it before.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite 10 then? It would sound like that last one was
Yeah.
pretty up there.
Yeah. I would say my last one on floor, or there was also freshman year, I got one on beam versus Florida. So like fourth event, like it's very close meet. We were kind of behind, but it was very close meet. So to be able to do something like that under pressure, at that big arena, that was pretty cool. So I would say those two are tied
Awesome.
for me.
Yeah, taking that pressure and diving into that a little more. So once you scored your first perfect 10, you know that you have this capability now, right?
Mhm.
And so did that like pressure of knowing you could score perfect, did that like ever affect your like mental state while you were competing or training?
Yeah, I think it definitely did. But I think my coaches and my teammates did a great job of reminding me to just go out there and do me and not really focus on the scores because prior to getting a 10, I didn't really focus on the scores. So why would that change? Just because of getting a 10. So I think it definitely did affect me a little bit, but also just having a good support staff of people reminding me that like it's just gymnastics, it's all fun. If another 10 happens, that's great. If not, it's still great. Like I'm still doing my best and trying hard for my team. So it was just more of a mental game for me after I got those 10s.
That's great. I mean, that's like the one of the biggest issues of like being a high achieving person, right? Being a successful person is you're always like moving the goalposts on yourself so that you can
Right.
accomplish the next thing. So like, yeah, and of course, like once you figure out you can score a 10, I don't want to see a 9.85 again. All right. Like,
Right.
all of a
Right.
sudden, like a score that used to be fantastic is like not good enough. So.
Mhm.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you had like the support system to help you with that because I would worry myself into a tizzy before
Mhm.
competing just because like I was like, dude, if I mess up, everything's on me. The whole team's gonna be disciplined. So it's easy to spiral, and I'm glad you had that support.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad too. They're very helpful. And even like outside of our coaching staff, just like sports psychs and stuff at LSU, like they made sure that we were all in a good headspace, which I think was really helpful. Not just for us individually, but like for us as a team and our success as a team. So that was awesome.
All right, and so the last one directly about you. And do you
Okay.
have a humble flex for us? Like any like thing that you're proud of that might be people might not
Yeah.
know a lot about? Like I asked Jake Dalton, and he was like, "Yeah, I never missed a routine for Team USA," which is an incredible like stat that like
That
I would
is
never have
crazy.
known otherwise. And when we asked Riley
Right.
Moose, he is like, "Yeah, I didn't miss a routine in the entire year of 2021." And so those are just examples. They don't have to be the same, but if you had something like that that you're proud of and people don't know, now it's time to shout it out.
Ooh. I would say one is just competing all around my freshman year, like first meet of the season. I don't think that happens too often. Right now we have Kaylin Chio. Pretty sure you guys have heard of her. She's like killing the game at LSU right now, but she's the first person, I think, as an LSU gymnast to do that since me. So I honestly didn't realize it was that big of a deal until they said that stat on like TV. It's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. So that would be my small little flex.
They're calling her the new Kiya Johnson.
Right.
No, she's insane. She's killing it.
And she's
Awesome.
a freshman. Marsh, we gotta
Yeah.
get her on the show. We gotta we gotta ask her how it feels to jump into the shoes of a legend.
Exactly. All right. And my last one for you, this is just nonsense, but it's fun to ask. All right. So yeah, you were, this kick-ass all-arounder.
Uh,
And as a gymnast, you got to see it everywhere. So if you were gonna pick a Disney princess to do all around with you, be your teammate, who
oh
do you think would
wow.
do the best job?
Wait, this is hard. I gotta think. I mean, I guess just because I'm a fan, Tiana, I
Right?
feel like we could eat down. I feel like that would be a crazy like back-to-back floor duo or like
Oh, for
back-to-back
sure.
theme duo. So I think that would be cool.
All that time as a frog, I'm
From
sure she's got
Nola.
great air awareness.
That's what I was
Right.
thinking. I was gonna be like, dude, she was a frog. She knows how to jump
Right.
high.
Exactly. That's good. I
Yeah.
feel like Mulan would probably be pretty good. Well, she
Yeah.
wouldn't even stop at just women's all around. She'd decathlon. She'd do the men's events.
No,
Like,
literally.
Who do you think the
She
worst princess would be?
Ariel, I feel
worse.
like the Finns would make it hard.
She's out of her element.
Right.
Exactly.
She's trying to say something to us, Marsh, but I don't think she knows how to talk.
That's
Uh,
funny.
okay, so Kai, I got a question for you. So I made a comment about it earlier, but when you were at LSU, you guys had a documentary about you guys
Yeah.
being made like weekly. It's called The
Uh-huh.
Climb, right?
Yep.
I think I was able to watch like the first episode when it first came out, and then it was asking me to pay. And I unfortunately didn't have
Yes.
$10 to spare. So, did you guys ever feel pressure from them doing that docu series? Or
Yeah.
it was just one person doing it, right? Or
It's one main person, like filming all the time, but we also had some people come into the gym or like go with us to meets to help him film and like get all the footage. But I honestly don't think there was any pressure. Only thing was at the beginning of, I believe it was that 2023 season, maybe. At the beginning, we had our first team meeting, and Giovanni, he's like our video guy. He was like standing in the meeting room before we all walked in there, and we're like, all right, this is weird. Like, what's Gio doing? It's the first meeting of the season. Like, why are you here? But after they explained to us that they were going to do a documentary, it wasn't um any pressure. They made themselves kind of discreet when they were in the gym, so it wasn't like, oh my gosh, there's a camera in my face all the time. And then they would ask us to do like small little interviews. So it wasn't anything crazy. And then I think to see how they were able to put it together is like the craziest part to me because it's still going on. I think they're on like season three, so it goes by each season. And it's gotten a lot of like good traction. And I think it tells the story of LSU Gym really well, whereas like you normally don't get to see the behind the scenes of like these high level teams. So I
Mhm.
think it's pretty cool.
Well, the project like shout out to what was his name, Gio? He does
Yeah,
a
Giovanni.
yeah, he does a phenomenal job. Like even
Yeah,
from the first episode I watched, I can't remember who told me. It was probably Alona, but
right.
like it's just him shooting and editing. And I was
Yeah,
this looks like a full like little MTV doc. I feel like you should be watching
yes.
this at like 5 p.m.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. He did it all, and I think he like had episodes out every 2 weeks. So it was very cool to like not only get to watch it like as a group before a meet, but also like our families getting to see the behind the scenes of like what we do, like what preseason looks like, that type of thing. So I think they're like on ESPN now. So
I don't know.
I don't know if they replay them, but I think they're on there sometimes.
I might have to go. I might have to finally sit down and watch. What season did you guys win the national title? Was that last season? Season two?
Yeah, so that was like season two. And then season one, though, I feel like it's good to watch season one to lead into season two because season one tells the story of like all of the things we went through. So like when I got hurt, and then Cammy tore her Achilles, and then Kai tore hers. Like it was everything was on film, which was really crazy. But like I said, it kind of
Of
adds to
course.
the storybook
You
ending of like,
you can't watch the sequel for. You can't watch Incredibles 2 before you
right,
watch Incredibles. You're right, Kaya.
right.
Yeah, everyone go watch The Climb.
Yes.
It's the first official gymnastics documentary approved by Podnastics.
Yeah.
Kaya, we're coming around our final thoughts before this wraps up. What is some gymnastics advice you could give if you could give anyone Kiya Johnson's patented gymnastics advice, what would it be?
I mean, very cliche, but I would say to dream big. That was kind of the motto and mantra of the club gym that I went to. Um, but I think it's very true. You can do whatever you set your mind to. So whether your dream is like Olympics, whether your dream is college gymnastics, whatever it is, keep that dream alive no matter whatever happens to you. It could be injury or just different things. Keep your dreams alive, keep them big because I think if you put your mind to something, you can accomplish it. So that'd be my biggest piece of advice.
That's awesome. That's been my favorite one so far. No shade to you, Jake Dalton. Marsh, Marsh, you got any final thoughts?
Oh, just, thank you for coming. This was great. It's always fun to talk to yeah, like women's gymnasts like who did college and were at these
Mm-hmm.
like, super high level programs. So I learn a lot.
Yeah, me and
Thank you
Marsh
so
aren't trying to sound like we're not out of our element, but we are.
much.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're the best, Kyle. Well, for Podnastics, my name is Jacob Daniel.
I'm Christian Marsh.
You got
I'm Kiya Johnson.
this has been Podnastics. Good night, Orlando.